and the rise of Christian nationalism in Canada, and see where you are positioning yourselves in relation to this particular issue. And also Marilyn Robinson's Absence of Mind, which in a way is a very long footnote to Marcy McDonald's book. So I think both of them are well worth reading.
I was just going to also say, Doug Todd from the Vancouver Sun, who's one of our top religious journalists in Canada, has picked up on the Armageddon Factor in his article a couple of days ago, War of Words Explodes as Armageddon Factor Hits Bookstores, and then he did a follow-up to the Armageddon Factor as well. So anyone who wants to look at Doug Todd's website, Vancouver Sun, and the various responses to Doug Todd's article is also valuable.
Yeah, we'll try to link, when we put this interview online, we'll try to link people to Doug Todd's editorial as well about it, because Todd tends to take both points of view and of course has his own point of view in the outcome of it. But it's worth thinking about, it's worth contemplating. And I want to thank Ron Dart for taking the time to come and join us in this broadcast. And we'll continue to explore these particular issues in Canadian society and culture from our own particular Christian perspectives, and present them on Canadian Orthodox Broadcasting. So we thank you for joining us, and we invite you to look at the other broadcasts in Canadian Orthodox Broadcasting System, and follow our development of discussions on Christianity in Canadian culture and society. And usually from an Orthodox Christian point of view, it's very valuable also to have the Anglican point of view, and from our evangelical representative, Brad Dursak, who gives us, we get a little bit more rounded perspective. It's well remembering too, though, Ron, that the evangelical Christian movement in Canada really produced the New Democratic Party originally. I mean, it really was founded by evangelical Protestants to begin with, and their deep concern for the welfare of ordinary people.
Well, certainly, you get the early CCF party, and you get the first head of the New Democratic Party, Tommy Douglas and Wordsworth, and these people all come out of a sense that the Bible and the Christian tradition has to have serious social, economic, political implications, and that the role of the state is essential in bringing that about. So to somehow argue that somehow evangelicals are only right of center very, very much is a distortion of the unique Canadian history, which points out, and I may just add, you know, for people who are really interested in the indigenous Canadian high Tory nationalism, they should be reading people like George Grant and Stephen Leacock and Sir John A. MacDonald and Diefenbaker and Eugene Forsey, and there's a whole school here of thinkers.
And I might add they should be reading Ron Dart sometimes, because Ron Dart is one of our, particularly in our local situation, one of our foremost scholars in the Red Tory tradition, and I think has produced some extremely valuable writings in this field, which should be pursued. Now, the reason I introduced the formation of the CCF party by Baptist ministers, evangelicals, is because we'd like to take that up in our next broadcast on the Canadian scene. And this particular program, which we simply call the Canadian scene, is something that's ongoing, and we'll take up I think the evangelical experience in the formation of the Canadian ethos in our next broadcast.